Now we go to the portion where many of your friends would like to know the answer to these questions. Yes, many of your friends would like to know the answer to these questions. That's why in the live question and answer portion, many of you would stand up and say, my friend would like to know about his or her love life. So for the benefit of your friends, let's answer some of these questions. If my parents wants me to marry a Filipino Chinese, is it wrong to date a Christian non-Filipino Chinese in the hopes that my parents will change their minds? Well, the Bible says that children, we are to honor our parents. But the word children there in Ephesians chapter 6 refers to minors, to children who are young children, who are not capable of making adult decisions. But deciding who to date and eventually who to marry is a decision that you need to make for yourself. Now, how can you honor your parents without necessarily obeying their wishes for you to marry or not to marry a certain person? Well, you are to wait. It would be very difficult for you to be involved in a dating relationship with someone that your parents do not approve. Now, whether your parents are Christians or not, I'm sure that they want the best for you. Now, before you jump the gun, before you go ahead of God, then you are to pray, you are to wait, and you are to honor your parents by expressing to them your desire. Now, I myself, I'm Filipino Chinese, and my wife is a Filipina. She may look Chinese and I may look Filipino, but she's actually the one who's Filipina, and I'm actually the one who's Chinese. One time, my mom asked me, before my wife and I were married, we were boyfriend and girlfriend, my own mom asked me, have you ever considered marrying a Filipino Chinese? And I told my mom, Ma, that's also my initial preference. However, I wouldn't want to marry just because of race. I want to marry somebody that I love. And I asked my mom, what do you think? And my mom says, well, it would be good for you to marry a Filipino Chinese, but I'd rather for you to marry somebody who is a good person rather than marry somebody who's Filipino Chinese, but she is not a good wife for you. So my mom understood that my choice was good. Even though in an ideal scenario for her, I would marry a Filipino Chinese, but she did not go against my relationship with my wife right now, who is in very good terms with her, because she knew that I made the right choice. So you can also wait. You can ask God to help you find a way to convince your parents that your choice is actually good. What should I do if the person I've been courting has not been responding favorably despite constantly praying for them? Okay, prayer in the context of courtship should be, this is what I suggest, should be primarily you asking God regarding what His will is, and you asking God to help you clarify what you really want. You ought to pray for yourself. You ought to pray that God helps you clarify to yourself what you really want. Are you truly committed to this person? Do you really want to love this person for the rest of your life? That is the function of prayer in courtship. Let God be the one to work in the heart of the other person. Now, what should you do if what should you do if she is not responding to your attempts to pursue a more than friendship relationship? Well, you could choose to wait or you could choose to move on. That is your choice. And that's the reason why it is important for you to ask God to clarify what you really want. If you really want to be in that relationship, then ask God for wisdom and strength so that you can wait. If you're giving up, then that is also your choice. But it doesn't mean that you've lost. It only means that you have determined that this is not God's plan for you and the other person, and you are moving on. How do I get answers from God regarding my love life? Is it okay for me to ask signs from God? Well, it's always tricky to ask signs from God because you can interpret anything in any way that you want. You can ask God that if she actually initiates a conversation with you in a particular occasion or party, that it would be an indication that you have a chance. But it doesn't guarantee that you actually have a chance. You might just be blocking the doorway and she initiates a conversation with you because she just wants to pass through and you're just blocking the way. So that's not an indication that you have God's favor. Instead of asking God for signs, it is best for you to just initiate a conversation with the person you're interested in. And if you're really determined to be or to pursue that relationship, then state your intentions and then get to know each other and explore the possibility of being together. Focus on what you can do in order to show the other person that you are sincere and that you are trustworthy and that you are committed, and let the other person decide. If my current partner is Christian but they are new, okay. If my current partner is Christian but he or she is new to Christianity and his or her growth in the Lord is slower than mine, what should I do if it seems like he or she is hindering or slowing my own maturity? The purpose or the goal of being a relationship, especially when you eventually get married, is to pursue oneness. The Bible says, for this reason, the man shall leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and the two shall become one. So, if you are in a relationship with somebody, you need to understand that you are journeying in this life together in pursuit of oneness. Now, if you really believe that that person you're with is slowing you down, if you're a good partner, then you need to find a way to meet him or her at his level and to help each other grow in your walk with Jesus Christ. Now, there's a difference between slowing you down from actually hindering you from following Jesus Christ. Now, if both of you are committed to follow Jesus, then I'm sure you can find a way to help each other grow at the same pace. But if one of you is not even a follower of Jesus, then the issue is not slowing down. You're in the wrong relationship. I'm a single woman who has been growing in the Lord and serving constantly. I have been praying for years for a husband without any hope in sight. Can you give me some advice on what I should do? Well, you should enjoy being a single woman. I don't know what God's will is for you. For some people, God's will is for them to get married. For others, God's will is for them to be happily single. But the reality is, you are single now. And it doesn't mean that you will never get married someday, but it also doesn't mean that you will definitely get married someday. So my counsel is this: maximize your singleness. Be open. Don't give up hope. Don't close the doors, but do not be entitled. Don't expect that God will give you a partner this year or next year or the following year. Yet be open to all of the possibilities that God might bring into your life. Don't give up. If you really want to be if you really want to get married someday, then keep praying to God and keep enjoying following Jesus Christ. Because eventually, as you follow Jesus, Jesus himself will lead you to the right path, including the right partner. Is it important to also work on my outer beauty besides my inner beauty? What is attractive to guys? Now, every guy has his own taste. Every guy has a particular type of woman that he likes. And no two guys are the same. It's important for a woman to be presentable. Physical attraction is important. Outward beauty is important, of course. But don't go overboard with it, because you don't want the guy to want you simply because of your good looks. But just be simple. Just be yourself and just be the simplest, prettiest woman that you can be. Now, hygiene should not even be stated. That should be a given. And being modest and decent without looking like you were born 300 years ago would also be nice. And let the guy see you for who you are and be attracted to you for your natural beauty. Now, if he is not at all attracted to you or you're not his type, that's not your fault. It's just that he has a different taste. And it shouldn't bother you at all because it's not a commentary about you. It's just that he has a different type.